Hello friends, and welcome to Testimony Tuesday. Jesus said in Luke chapter 9 and verse 23, "Then he said to them all, if anyone desires to come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross daily and follow me." A couple weeks ago, Hannah and I were in different places for the weekend, and I'd gone to church, and I thought maybe I would have some obligations in the afternoon for why I was there, but I didn't end up having any. So I thought, I can just go back, to the hotel and enjoy a nice, quiet afternoon. And the church group was going to some like nursing homes or hospitals and singing for the patients. And I thought, I could go with them, but it was a really big group, and I thought, you know what? One voice isn't really going to make much of a difference for those who are listening to the music. And I don't know enough Thai to be able to, talk to them and very well. So I thought, there isn't really any reason for me to go. But as I was back in my room, I just didn't have peace about that. It was like I was not okay with that. And I felt like God wasn't okay with me not going. And then I thought, maybe it's not, and I think this thought came from God, maybe it's not as much about what I'm going to do for them, but God needs me to go and do something other than for me. And I was like, okay, you have a point there. And so I started thinking, okay, maybe I could just go and take a walk and look for people to, talk with or be a blessing to, even though I can't talk that well. Maybe hand out, some tracts or whatever. And so I decided I would do that. So I went out and I took 4 gospel tracts from the truck, and I started walking out, and I saw a man who was an older man who didn't have a phone. Most of the shop owners, if they don't have business, they're just looking at their phone. He wasn't. He was looking out. He smiled at me. Thought, he'd be a great guy to give one to. But I kept going, and I saw another, lady. She'd be good to get. And I kept seeing these people that I could give the tract to. Got down to the river, was walking along the river, and I went out and kept seeing people that I could hand the tracts to, but I wasn't. And I turned around and I was heading back, and I was like, what is keeping me from doing it? And there was this younger father with maybe a 1-year-old child, that he was just standing there, looking out at the river. And the baby saw me and looked at me and kind of smiled, and so I smiled and whatnot, and then I just kept walking by. And it was like, what if I was their only chance to know the gospel? What if they died tomorrow? And it just hit me so hard, what am I doing? I'm here, I'm supposed to be a missionary, but am I actually being a missionary? Or is my love of self and my comfort zone, just because I don't feel comfortable talking to them, keeping me from being the light that they need? I've spent a whole summer going door to door talking to people in parking lots and selling Christian books. It's not like I don't know how to do it, or I haven't done it, or I can't do it. It was just this, I could, but I wasn't doing it. And the thought, as I was just praying and talking to God about this, the thought that came to me was, my love for souls needs to be greater than my love for myself. So it was almost, and this is kind of a strong way to put it, but it was almost like I was making my comfort zone an idol. And I was worshiping my comfort zone instead of throwing that away and putting it on the altar and worshiping God with it and saying, I give this up so that God can be glorified. And so I was like, okay, Lord, you have to help me. So I kept walking, and there was a man. I stopped and talked with him for a little bit, and I gave him a tract. And then I kept walking on, and there was a lady who was putting away her food cart, and I went up to her and I said hello, And like within 15 seconds, she was telling me that she could see that I was a really spiritual person, and all of this stuff. And she was talking a mile a minute, and I understood like just a little bit of it. But we just kept talking, and I would try and respond with whatever I understood, and then try and share with her a little bit, and just had a really nice conversation with her. And she was really friendly. And then I gave her a tract. And I told her, like, if you have questions about this, you can go and talk to the pastor. And she knew where the church was. And so that was really cool. And then as I continued on, I was able to hand out the other 2 tracts as well. And that was just an experience where I had chosen to go out of my, I guess you could say, what I wanted to do, even to just go out with tracts intentionally to give to people, even though that should be what I naturally want to do. It's not. And being able to push past that comfort zone fence barrier, whatever you want to call it, was really a good experience for me in just denying self and being willing to put God first. So I want that to be that sort of thing to be much bigger in my life, of handing out tracts, because it's very easy to do, even though it's not always comfortable. So anyway, I hope this has been a blessing to you, and I just want to encourage you, do good things for other people, not because you want, to earn anything from God. God loves you, period. But to show your love for Him, to share with others, because people need to see God. People in this world need to see God's love. And if we let God's love come in, because I can't have the love for souls that I need to have on my own. It just is not there. And I can't create it. I can't make it there. It's just not. I have to receive that from God, and then that can flow out. So that's my prayer every day. And I hope that that is your prayer as well, and your goal to just let God be glorified in you every day.